Next up is Broomhilda's Bakery. And so you should have your stabilizer. This is just a piece of cutaway. We're going to hoop this stabilizer only. Cut it bigger than the hoop. So I'm just going to go ahead and hoop this so we can put this out of the way. I love tearaway stabilizer. It's kind of like what I used in the beginning with everything. It's, of course, not the right stabilizer for everything, but... And I love Baby Lock's tearaway firm because it rips away. I feel like it's a good thickness, and then it rips away pretty easily. Okay, so hoop is ready to go. This is going to be all your fabric and embellishments and all the good stuff that came out of your kit. So we're going to go ahead and go over to the machine. Whoop. Have all my thread here and ready. Okay, let's load our design. So I am going to go home. Embroidery. Let's pick my pocket, USB, and we are doing Twilight Boo. And the design we're doing, let's confirm, this is going to be Broomhilda's Bakery, and it is this one right here. So go ahead, select your design, hit set, embroidery, and let's slide our hoop on. So here are all my goodies. I just dumped them all onto my frame, my 5x7. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and slide this on. And we're preparing our fabric like we did before. So you need to fold it down the center to create a crease. I'll just do it right here. And then you're going to fold up 1 inch. Actually, I am going to do it over here because I want to use my hot hammer, my hot ruler. So 1 inch, I'm sorry, center crease. And then you're going to go 1 inch up. Need just the right angle. Okay, give it a nice aggressive finger press. I'm going to pull my ruler out. Here we go. Now we're ready to go to the machine. All right, first thing that it's going to do is it is going to do a placement stitch, and it's asking for a neutral color. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my standard gray. And just go ahead and stitch. It's going to be right down on the bottom. Okay, so that was your stitch background placement line. So you're going to go ahead and just, you can fold this up to that inch, or you could fold the crease first. It really does not make a difference. So I folded it up 1 inch, and then I folded it over. So there's my inch that we pre-pressed, and then I'm going to fold it over and match my edges. And I'm going to come over here to my hoop, and you're going to see you have your center mark and you have your line. So the center crease is going to go on the little notch in the center, and you're going to line up the fold with that line stitch. lay it down, and you have some give. It doesn't have to be completely perfect. Then you're going to go ahead and put your fabric down, and you're going to tape it in place just for it to do the tack down stitch. All right, and let's go ahead and do the tack down. First thing it wants you to do is to stitch the lollipop light and sign scroll work detail. And it looks like black. So I'm going to take out my gray and let's put our black thread in. We've got 46 steps, ladies. So settle in. Okay, just hit start. So we do need, this is going to be coming next. This is the black glitter piece that's 3.5 by 7.5. So make sure you separate the protective coating. So I like to just bend the corner and then peel back. It'll come away nice and easily. You can get rid of this and keep this. Okay, next you're going to stitch the house and chimney placement line. That is also going to be in black. So just go ahead and leave your black in there. We have a pretty big piece for that chimney in the house. Okay, so I completely cut down my glitter because the piece they gave you was so darn big, and I felt like I was being a little bit wasteful. So now I cut this down. So I cut it down to 2.25. I'm sorry, 2.5 by 5.25 is what I have on this. So I am going to tape it. I did do this and it completely got a little bubble in it. So I'm going to go ahead and tape it down. Tape outside of your stitch line. And on top of taping outside your stitch line, watch it like a hawk. And make sure you're not getting that bubble. And then I cut a little piece for the top part. And it's right here. So I'm going to go ahead and lay that down. And that'll make me much happier. I'm just going to lay it down like that. And that should be perfect. Even this is huge. Here we go. And you need 1/8 of an inch outside the stitch line. So as this is stitching, I'm just going to kind of smooth my fabric and just make sure it doesn't get pushed anywhere. It's a big piece, so you got to pay attention when you're doing especially big pieces. He just wants to push that. So just watch it. Still got a little bit of a bubble. I think you just have to be careful for that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to trim this. So trim it to 1/8 of an inch. Let me get my scissors. I'm going to remove the tape. Trim it to 1/8 of an inch, and then we're going to press it. So I'm going to go heat up my iron too. Make sure it's nice and hot. So just outside that stitch. Pressing it's going to make it lay nice and flat. Then you can trim this too. All right, let's take it over to our iron. You want to make sure you have, number one, not a big mess here. So let me go ahead and put that out of the way. But we want to have a Teflon sheet. And your Teflon sheet is going to protect your glitter from your iron. So I'm going to go ahead and lay this down. And I'm going to just iron right in here, and I think it says 15 to 20 seconds, but I really find that, 7 to 10 is good. So let's do 10 to 12. That should be plenty. Make sure your iron is not touching the glitter directly. I've never touched the glitter directly with my iron, so I'm not sure what happens to it, but I don't want to find out. And now this is laying all nice and flat. I did have little bit of some puckering going on there, the tiniest bit. So I'm going to slide this back on, and let's look at our directions. So we did this part right here. So we trimmed it 1/8 of an inch, and then using a pressing cloth, we held it directly over our glitter to adhere the glitter to the fabric. And now we need to stitch the roof placement line. Color does not matter. But I think the roof is orange, so I'm going to put my neutral gray back in. I think we're going to do a little bit of applique here. And then we're going to place our roof fabric right side up. That's going to be this right here. And this fabric's going to cover the roof, and it covers that little placement line that we just stitched too. So it's going to cover all of that. Okay, I gave this a little shot of spray. Just going to lay it down. And then tack it down. And then we're going to trim nice and close to that stitch. All right, let's go ahead and trim this close to the stitch. All right, look how cute that is. Okay, so now it says do the stitch, stitch the window placement line, and then we're going to place window fabric right side up. The window fabric is going to be the, it's going to be the white houndstooth check. So it's going to be this fabric right here. So it says color doesn't matter, neutral color, so I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I'm going to shoot this with a little bit of spray. Okay, so go ahead and place this right on top of that. And then you're going to do your tack down. All right, so we are going to go ahead and trim that. And we did have a little bit of prep work, which I forgot to do, but it did want us to, something we were supposed to do was put the little polka dot glitter on top of this fabric. So that's going to be coming up. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I already took the protective coating off of this, and we're going to take this and put it right on top of this fabric, and we are going to adhere it. So let's come back over here to the iron. Let me move this out of the way. I'm going to grab my Teflon sheet again. I'm going to put it right on top and just hold this down. Oh, we don't want that to move either because I am on my wool mat. 15 to 20 seconds. That, I'm sure, is plenty. Okay. And look how cute that's going to be when we do our cupcake. It's going to be adorable. All right. Mine's hot. I'm going to just throw it to the side. And now let's get back to our stitching. We are on step, we just did the windows, so we're on step 10. So go ahead and stitch the lollipop light placement lines, and it is showing us that in orange. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my orange thread. I'm all tangled up here. Hang on a sec. Okay. Let's put in my orange thread. And this is the lollipop light placement line. And then we're going to place our lollipop light glitter right side up. So here is our lollipop light glitter, and it's going to be orange, or they call it copper. I'm just going to hold him down. He's a little piece. We're going to trim this 1/8 of an inch from the stitch line, and then we're going to press it. Let's go ahead and grab this 1/8 of an inch. Wrong scissors. For me, I like to trim with those, but my 1/8 of an inch I like to do with these. All right. Okay, I'm going to go press it down. Teflon sheet. 15 to 20 seconds. I'm doing more like 10. Or even 7. Okay, that should be good. It's looking pretty darn cute. Come on back over here. Okay, so that is our lollipop light. We are on step 12, and 12 says stitch the door placement line. It says color doesn't really make a difference. I'm just going to go ahead and leave it the orange. Fabric we're going to be using is going to be this, or you're going to have a different gray. This is what Maywood sent me. So I'm going to just put this down. I'm going to give it a little shot of spray. I bet I could just cover it this way. I think it's probably going to get covered over with a satin stitch. So I'm just going to put let's just put in the orange. And then we're going to go ahead and trim the fabric close. All right. Now we're on step 14. 14 says stitch the brick placement line. And then we're going to place bricks embroidery leather right side up. It is showing this in black. So I'm going to go ahead and change my thread color out to black. Scoot that on. We're going to be using this silver piece. So you have your silver piece of leather, have that waiting. So we're going to stitch the brick tack down. I can't even see where it goes, but I think I can feel it. So let's go ahead. I'm going to put it down like this. And let's go ahead and tape it. Might as well. So we're going to do this, and then we're going to trim this close. So the instructions say to trim the leather very close to the stitch line. I'm going to pop this out and let's get trimming. right. So there's one side looking pretty darn cute. Let's go ahead and we'll come in there from here. Got scared for a minute that I was cutting through my glitter too, but I was not. Just felt thick. Okay. All right. So we have just done step 15. It does say change your bobbin to black. So I'm going to pop my, I mean, look how cute that looks. Oh my God, I just love it. I love you, Kimberbell. So I'm going to pop my bobbin out. I'm going to change it to black. And it says to stitch the sign placement line. My black thread looks like it's going to come out. So here's our sign placement line. And then you're going to grab your piece of felt. I'm going to just, oh, we've got a little bit more sign. Okay, I'm going to put this down, and then it's going to do the tack down. And we're going to trim this 1/8 of an inch away. Okay, let's go ahead and trim this up. We're going 1/8 of an inch. All right, looking cute. All right, now it says to go ahead and change your bobbin thread back to white. Let's go ahead and take out the black one, and we're going to put the white one back in. And it says stitch the cupcake liner placement line. So, whoops. And did it want me to change my thread? Yeah, we do need to change our thread too. So I'm glad that it stopped me there. So we're gonna let's see what color thread that is. The cupcake liner. I'm gonna go. So I grabbed a nice kind of golden tan, and let's go ahead and change out your thread. Because our liner is going to be that gold leather. Okay, do your placement line. Oh, that is so tiny. I'm just going to hold this and let it get started. And I'm just going to use the top half. Okay, we're going to stitch this, and then after we stitch it, we're going to trim it at 1/8 an inch. Pretty cute. All right, I'm going to go ahead and slide this back in. We're going to change our thread out to white. And it wants to do the cupcake frosting placement line. Cupcake. I would like cupcake right now. A red velvet cupcake. Sounds good. Okay, stitch the cupcake frosting placement line, and then we're going to place the prepared cupcake frosting glitter / fabric. And that's going to be this that I interrupted you to go prepare. All right, and we're just going to go ahead and put this down. And that's pretty tiny too. It is telling me to do white. How about we tape it? I'm just going to tape it up here along this top part. Okay. We're going to go ahead and let's trim this to 1/8 of an inch. Take your time with this. You've got a lot of innies and outies. And I'm not going to trim in these little spots right here. I'm just going to leave that. You have the stitching to make it look special. Okay, so that was the end of step number 21. Now we're going to leave it white and we're going to stitch the witch's leg fill stitch. I'm going to just go ahead and put my foot down, leave the white in there. And then you're going to need purple. Okay, so let's take out the white. We're going to put in the purple. We're on step 23, means we're halfway done. Okay, I'm going to take out my purple and let's put in the black. We're going to do her, are these her boots? You've got some window sills coming up and it looks like a brown. So I'm gonna this brown right here. Oh, those boots are cute. I'm going to go a little bit darker with that brown. So I'm going to use this one right here. It's kind of like a chocolate brown. So let's take out the black. I'm going to put in the brown. And this is going to be for the shelves. All right. Now we're going to do step number 26, which is stitch the display cupcake liner. So I'm going to use that same kind of golden brown that I used for the witch's cupcake. Let me put that in. All right, we're going to put the purple back in. That's going to be the display cupcake frosting fill stitch. Okay, now we're going to put in our orange. And this is going to be the Display Cupcake Candy Detail Stitch. Go ahead and stitch that out. Okay, and then we're going to take out our orange and we are going to put in our, I don't know if this is magenta. It's our pinkish purple. Sorry for the swing with the camera. Okay, I'm going to put this in. And this color, this is step number 29. And step 29 is, you thread and then I'll read. This is the Display Pie Tin Fill Stitch. And then we're moving on to page 17. So this is going to be the Display Pie Crust Fill Stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and put in that pretty golden brown again. I'm not quite sure what color they're asking for because that's where my glass of water spilt. And so nothing looks quite right on the top of any of my pages. But that's okay. This looks like pie to me. And then after we do this, it's going to be the Pie Candy Detail Stitch. Right on the very, very top. Looks like purple. Let's just go ahead and we'll put purple in. This is when a 10 needle would be really great. And then let's go ahead and we have to do the seam that's coming up. So I'm going to do that in gray. Okay, now it wants us to do the window satin stitch outline. And I'm going to go ahead and do that in orange. It looks like they're showing us two different oranges, like a darker orange and a lighter orange. So I have an earthier orange. I'll just call it not quite as bright. It's more of a burnt orange. So I'm going to use this. And then I'll use my other orange. And put this in for my windows. And I've got a lot of threads to trim. And you're going to get your vinyl ready. We're going to trim up all those windows and all those threads, make sure everything looks great, and then we'll put our vinyl down. Well, I didn't even see what happened there. I was looking at my instructions. Let's get that needle out of the way. And I think it just hit it in the perfect spot. You know how that happens sometimes. Okay, anytime something like that, and I can feel like a little knot right there, I'm going to turn my machine off and back on again and just make sure I wasn't knocked out of calibration. So anytime something like that happens and your needle may be dragged, just assume, or I just assume I was knocked out of calibration, and I always just turn my machine off and back on again. I've been stitching with an 8012 Microtex needle just because some of this stuff is thick. So I'm going to put another 8012 back in. And let's also go back some stitches too. So let me go back. This is actually just doing the undersewing. So let me get a screwdriver. So I was hand tighten and then use your screwdriver. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and thread it. I'm going to go ahead and thread it first. Oh, and you know what? It got caught. It wasn't even down there. It was up here. My thread got caught on the spool. So I'm not sure if it hit something or if it was just that it got caught on the upper threading. Okay, time for the vinyl to go down, but before we put the vinyl down, we've got to make sure there's no threads that are going to be unsightly underneath the vinyl. So go ahead and just trim anything you might see, like that one. And this is a good time for the side hopper, because I can see one more thread that needs to go right here. There we go. It looks good. Oops, I had one more thread here that I almost missed. Just couldn't see it from my angle. Okay, we're going to get our vinyl, and it is going to stitch this down. I think we're just going to leave that same, the same orange in there. So let's go ahead, put your vinyl down, and let it go. It's so cute. I know I've probably said that 100 times since we've started this project. Okay, you're going to trim that vinyl, trim it 1/8 of an inch. All right. Look at those windows. Are those so cute? They're pretty darn cute. Okay, now it wants to stitch the outline of the door. I'm just going to leave in that same burnt orange. And then after we do that, we're going to be stitching black. Okay, after that, that was step 35. Now we're on step 36. We're going to change our thread to black. And this is going to be the brick satin outline and detail stitch. Pull this out of here. And then you're going to need gray for the foundation. So I think I'm just going to either use that gray or one that's just a little bit darker. Oh, that looks so cute. Oh my God, that is just absolutely adorable. Okay, now we're going to do the house foundation, and that's going to be in gray. And I went and pulled another gray, but it's pretty much looks the same color as the other one I had. But anyways, we're going to use it. I don't want to go too dark. All right, now you're going to put black back in, and we're going to stitch the inner fairy lights eyelet stitch. I got to tell you, I'm pretty excited about putting this all together and adding the lights. Okay, I'm going to hit start. And it looks like there's 3 eyelets. We're going to put our orange in, and I'm just using the lighter orange that I have. And there's 2 eyelets. So it's going to stitch 2 eyelets, and then we're going to do the outline of the roof. We're getting close, ladies. Okay, now we're going to do the roof satin stitch outline. Okay. Oh my God. Isn't that fantastic? So now after you've done that, we're going to stitch Broomhilda's because this is her bakery after all. So I'm going to take out the orange and I'm going to put the white back in. This is step 41. And then we're going to stitch bakery with our purple. And let's put in our purple. It's going to stitch out bakery. All right, we're going to take out the purple and we're going to put in black. We also need to change out our bobbin. So let's go ahead and put in your black bobbin. And we're going to put our black thread in the top too. And this is going to stitch out blueberry pies to die for. Blueberry pies to die for. That must have been what happened to the witch. All right. let's just get that threaded again. I'm just going to hit start. It's going to do the chain detail. Now it does say to change the bobbin to white and then do the bat, but I'm just, since the bat's black, I'm just gonna leave the black bobbin in and do the bat, and then I'll change it to white after we're done with the bat. I'm going to go ahead and change out the bobbin to white, and we are going to do the swirl detail on the lollipop, and then we are done. Oh, let's go ahead and put white in the upper too. I almost forgot. So this is going to stitch the lollipop light swirl detail stitch. Let's go ahead and slide that out. We're going to bring it over here, and let's go ahead and remove our basting stitch first. Let me get my handy dandy seam ripper. Where did it go? Here it is. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is let's go ahead and remove that basting stitch. Start down here. Okay. And that is good for me. I'm going to go ahead and heat up my iron. Let's pop this out of the hoop. And let's remove all our stabilizer, or at least most of it. I mean, come on. That is just adorable. I got to tell you, my bricks, the bricks on here, those are my favorite. Those are just to die for. Cute. think that's pretty good for me. I know there's a little bit left, but I'm okay with that. Okay, my iron is nice and hot. I'm going to spray from the back. And you are just going to press until it is dry and flat. I like to just go one direction and then I'll go the other direction unless it'll distort if I go the other direction. So okay, I think I'm good. Looks great. Oh, you know, my pies got a little steamy in the vinyl, but those will cool off and they'll look great. So let me get my cutting mat. Let's read our directions one more time before we cut. And it does say to use the 6.5 by 8.5 ruler. And we want to do 1/4 of an inch above the inside bottom edge of the ruler. So we'll go ahead and line that up, the foundation. So let's go ahead and make sure we're pretty equal here, and that looks good. And then I want 1/4 of an inch up from the foundation. I'm going to push this up to there. That looks like 1/4 of an inch. Too far. There we go. Let me check my edges. I'm about 1 inch. And I'm about 1 inch. So it looks good. I am ready to trim it up. Oh, sorry if you didn't see that. But I did measure down here. You know, I have the inch mark on this. You can see it on that side. And then I measured over here. It's about 1 inch from here and about 1 inch from here. So that looks good. And I'm going to do my cuts. I'm going to hold my ruler and my rotating mat as I turn. And there we go. Done with Broomhilda's bakery. Last thing you're going to do is just go in here with your side hopper and cut all these little threads that are carrying on from one side to the other. Just get all of those. That might be it. This is pretty darn cute. I don't know what this is. All right, I will see you in a little bit for what's next. The next one is going to be candy corn quilt shop, and we'll also do the dimensional pennants.